Waiting for things to go live.
Yeah, I mean, it's showing me, saying it's streaming. I don't... But it's like also acting really
Well,
weird.
sorry everyone. It seems that our software decided to be interesting tonight and not actually start our streams for some reason. So, you missed what was easily the best intro that Carl and I have ever given.
Easily.
But we get here just in time. We'll give you the quick rundown of everything that we discussed. The short version is, everybody that's in the chase, with the exception of Blake Gordon, who has won multiple races in this process, is live to get themselves into the final four for the AOLL chase, which will be 3 races rather than a single shootout.
Yeah, I mean, you got these, guys over here marked in gold on the standings here. These are all guys that, with the exception of Blake Gordon, have a chance to fall outside of that top 4 and not make it, not advance to the final round of 4 drivers. So, with such a short track and the fact that it really is a single groove place, I think we might see a little bit of chaos tonight, and I think we're going to see some tempers as well.
Well, and that's going to be the big thing. Martinsville is a single groove track to where track position is going to be king. As we'll just do a quick run through personally myself here. Blake Gordon is on the pole, Adam Wood in second, Brandon Bernhardt in third, Steve Gottschalk fourth, Justin Anderson is in fifth, Tony Pandon 6th, Ed Springer 7th, Joe Dinsmore 8th, Brian McFerrin 9th, Sean Carmody in 10th, Teddy Weichel 11th, Dan Witt 12th, Joshua Hanner 13th, Timothy St. Jean 14th, David Naughtons in 15th, Mike Burgess in 16th, and Greg Juicero is in 17th. And we are going green right now with Blake Gordon getting a great jump, getting himself into the front of that line on the low line, going into turn 1, coming out of 2. That's going to allow Adam Wood to get himself single file along with Steve Gottschalk behind him.
That worked out great for Adam Wood right there. That could have been, starting there on the outside. I mean, somewhere like here, I start second, and I'm not, excited about it. I'm like, oh, man, I really wish I had started third.
Well, and right now, Brandon Bernhardt's stuck on that outside line, and that's going to give the opportunity for Justin Anderson to get himself back up, because as it stands, he would just barely be squeaking himself into the chase.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to actually pull up, I've got standings that should be updating as we are going along here. And, well, maybe I don't. Maybe it's just not going to work for now. Sorry.
Well, it's just how things happen to work.
Yeah.
Considering we got thrown off our game to start tonight.
Yeah, the whole thing's been just busted, so...
But we're watching. Brandon Bernhardt has been stuck on that outside line for far too long, and Joe Dinsmore gets around him at the same time. And we've managed to get ourselves single file all the way back through the pack, but Blake Gordon going to this camera intentionally, because this is essentially what we expected out of Blake, is to just take off.
Yeah, I mean, there's no surprise here at all. I mean, but what is surprising for me is that these guys got single file so quickly. I mean, you're typically going to, have some guys trying to race a little bit more, and I mean, I think these guys realize this is 120 laps, so let's not, let's at least get to our first green flag pit stop, and then we'll maybe turn up the intensity a little bit.
Well, and that's exactly the thing, is we do have a few people that are, as Justin Anderson actually gets himself below Tony Pandon and up into fourth. That's not a move that's normally going to be able to happen all that much. So let's jump back real quick and see how he actually pulled this off. Just a great run.
he had a great run. He made it clear that, you know, he was going for the position. And I mean, Tony Pandon smartly stayed, you know, on the higher line, let him by, because I mean, look, I mean, Tony could have probably tried to fight that, and then, you know, Joe Dinsmore could have gotten up there, and as he is now, actually, could have gotten up there and taken the position as well. So sometimes you got to pick your battles, and you know, sometimes that means letting a guy by.
Well, and the problem is he's found himself stuck on that outside line, and there's going to be a freight train of Endeavor cars coming around right behind him.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I were him, I wouldn't be too concerned about that right now. He's in a, I'm not gonna say a safe position in the points, because if I'm not mistaken, this with Joe Dinsmore gets around him here, which he does. Yeah, Joe actually just jumped ahead of Tony Pandon in the points. They just by making that pass, they literally just switched spots, and that puts Joe Dinsmore in the top 4 and pushes Tony Pandon out. So, you know, the positions matter, but again, we are 12 laps into a 120 lap race. You got to be a little patient.
And we're seeing a lot of that patience coming through right now, because we've seen at this track already this week, there's a whole lot of people that know that they're on the bubble and got to make some daring moves, as we saw in the IVRL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, you know, there's so many guys that, you know, it's tricky, because I'm looking at, like, Steve Gottschalk. He's in a super safe spot right now. Justin Anderson, super safe spot in terms of points. But then you got Adam Wood. He's sitting where he's running right now. He's sitting 6 points, 7 points behind the cut line. But there's really not, it's short of getting ahead of Blake Gordon, there's really nothing else he can do at this point other than just hope that other people have a bad finish. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that don't have control of their own destiny at this point unless they can go up there and get a win.
And that's what he's waiting on, as Adam is coming up to some lap traffic right now from David Naughton. And Dave drops down low, which is a very dangerous place to go, because that's going to cause a lot of people to be off their line. And that was not the right place to go. It's high here at Martinsville.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. But I mean, at the same time, I will say this: going to the high line is absolutely the correct place a lap car should go. But if I'm someone trying to pass a lap car, and for whatever reason, if they are more comfortable being in that low line, I would rather them be in the line they're comfortable in. Because it's less of a chance of an incident. Now, that being said, if you're not comfortable in the high line, you should have practiced.
Yeah, in all honesty, you know, as the laps tick down tonight, that's what you want. And I'm actually going to jump a little farther back in the field as we see Mike Burgess actually crash.
Oh, Blake Gordon having issues. Blake Gordon just had huge issues. And we got crashes on the track. I'm not sure what happened, but Blake Gordon almost lost it and slammed the wall a little bit. I have no idea what happened.
All right, we got to go back to see.
Oh, he was avoiding a wreck.
He was avoiding the incident with Mike Burgess. And
wow, that was incredible what he did there. I'm blown away by that, to be honest. That was incredible.
But I don't understand how iRacing did not pull out the yellow flag for that one.
That is absolutely puzzling. I Wednesday night, you know, you heard me. I was very critical of iRacing and currently how they, you know, their logic determined when to throw a caution, and that could have cost Blake Gordon the race tonight.
It almost did, but
and
great
to be
car
fair,
control.
Yeah, to be fair, even if the caution did come out, that wouldn't have helped Blake in that situation.
No.
But, you know, someone else further back could have gotten caught up in it. I mean, Adam Wood, you know, was coming up on it really quickly as well.
I wanted to go on to the back bumper of Steve Gottschalk, as he's coming under pressure from Justin Anderson and Joe Dinsmore right now, and apparently he keeps blinking out. So let's go ahead and take this from a different angle and go on board with the Brandon Bernhardt roll bar camera. of Justin Anderson.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind just sitting here and watching Justin for a little bit, just see how he's entering the corner and all of that. And, you're seeing right there, he's quite a bit lower than Steve Gottschalk is on the apron. Not quite on the apron, I should say. But
flirting with those curves.
Yeah, he is. And I'll tell you, someone blinking in front of you is terrifying. I feel for Justin right now. Which, I also feel for Gottschalk as well, because from his perspective, all of the other drivers are disappearing. So I hope maybe it's just a temporary issue and it'll get worked out.
Well, we'll see as Justin keeps flirting with that wall coming out of 4. Has tagged it once or twice.
Hey, so something I just noticed, Tony Pandon was able to get around Joe Dinsmore. Joe got a little loose in one of the corners. Maybe tight, I don't know. He lost it a little bit. But,
but as he loses it there, Brandon Bernhardt manages to get himself down below.
He's fighting for it, yeah.
And
is caution out? Maybe it's not. Never mind. I'm sorry. I thought I saw it.
No, we are still there, but Joe Dinsmore, yeah, this Steve Gottschalk blinking may end up causing some issues.
Yeah, and I'm sure that being teammates, Justin is communicating it to Steve, and I'm sure he's aware of it. It's honestly an awful feeling, right? When you're out there and you know that you're blinking, but you also know that you have to run this race if you want to advance. So you're just kind of sitting there and, for one, hoping that this will get better. But if it doesn't, I hope that I don't screw up anybody else's race.
And I never dreamed I would have to actually talk about this, but I have to. I was told pre-race we're looking at about 85 laps on a fuel run tonight.
Wow, that's something. And from what I understand, I don't think tire wear is that big of an issue. I'm going to look at lap times here real fast. And we've had some decent fall off at this point. It's been about a second. But I don't think anybody's going to want to risk pitting here and going multiple laps down, because if the caution comes out, they are going to be in trouble.
Well, and I think that's going to be the big thing, is when do you time that pit stop? Because at this point, we're only about 3 laps away from the window opening.
Yeah, I think if you are one of the playoff, one of the guys who's pretty safe right now. If you're Blake Gordon, I think you run the thing dry. Or perhaps you might do a different strategy, a riskier strategy, because the win just, gives you bonus points. You don't need the win to advance. Then I think some of the guys like, Steve Gottschalk, Justin Anderson, I think they're going to run it dry because that's the safest option. It's not likely to get you a ton of time on track, but you also have no risk of getting caught a lap down or anything like that. So I would stay out as long as I can. But the person I think that should, possibly short pit on this run, maybe around lap 60 or so, cut it in half, is Adam Wood.
And knowing that Adam right now is actually in need of the win tonight, I think that the standard practice is Adam is actually coming up on the lap traffic of Timothy St. Jean. I think that the plan, if we stay green for most everyone, is going to be split this in half.
See, I wouldn't do that personally, because the risk of the caution is just. If you're one of the guys that's relatively safe in points, I would run it. Seriously, run it dry. I think that sure you're going to lose a lot of time on track, but it's a fairly safe option, because a lot of these guys are points racing right now.
Well, as Tim St. Jean seems to block Adam Wood ever so slightly there, he's there ready to make the pass as Tim stays high, opening up the door for those guys. And these are going to be the kind of moments that I think if we do see a caution, that's going to be the culprit of it.
Yeah, I agree. And, one thing I do wonder about, we've seen Adam Wood. He's been incredible recently. I have to wonder, a lot of this is due to him having the benefit of running usually the same tracks in 2 leagues with IVRL and AOLL. So, IVRL's last race next week. I wonder if, that just gives him more time to practice for this. But I'm curious if we're going to see a drop off in performance, perhaps, just because of the fact that he's not going to have that, almost practice runs.
Well, there's a possibility, and to make Adams run towards the front a little bit better is, yes, he gets the practice, but actually I do believe until this week they were different setups.
Oh, that's a good point.
They are running the standard iRacing Martinsville setup today. So yes, all of the laps, 275 laps he put in at Martinsville on Tuesday, are actually going to be helping him tonight, and I'm a firm believer that that's why he's currently running in second. And right now, the only people that are going to put any kind of pressure on him are his Steel Horse Racing teammates of Steve Gottschalk and Justin Anderson.
Yep, I agree. And this has been kind of incredible. I was expecting a tighter. I was expecting tighter racing tonight, but I think there's so many. First of all, the guys who are not in the playoffs, they are doing everything they can to ensure they do not wreck one of these playoff drivers. They do not want to be the people that do that. So they're out there trying to avoid that. And then the other guys are, being very conservative, like trying to, make sure that they're going to advance on points and not end their night early.
And again, I'm somewhat amazed that we've now made it 44 laps. No cautions. And we're starting to see, and we'll jump to the blimp here, because I think that's really the only opportunity we're going to have to see anyone near Blake Gordon right now.
Yeah, and
because even if we go into his gearboxes, he's going to enter turn 1 here. I think we're just going to start to see Adam Wood right as he starts to take the turn.
Yep, you can just barely see him there. And I've got the live point standings pulled up. Again, unofficial, of course, but obviously Blake Gordon already was advancing this would give him 3 wins, but ended right now. Justin Anderson, Steve Gottschalk tied for second, and then Tony Pandon be the other guy that sneaks in. So that would leave out Joshua Hanner, Joe Dinsmore, Brandon Bernhardt, Adam Wood. So we're going to keep an eye on that throughout the night and see who can work their way in and who gets pushed out.
As we'll go ahead and ride along with Blake Gordon for a short while here as he is catching Ed Springer, who runs a little bit wide there, and it's sweaty palms time for Blake as he's going there, and we'll go to the standard TV camera to make sure that there's no funny business behind him. But
well, hey, why don't we show off for a second? You can switch back to the in-car camera and we do our new little trick.
I like it.
And we can see both things at once.
So once iRacing loads here, and it helps if I'm not on the tower still, but
yeah, so we're seeing Blake Gordon's in-car there on the right, and watching him on the track with the TV camera on the left. So we can kind of see both perspectives, what he's seeing through his car, and then also what's happening on the track.
And we took some time and decided to start getting fancy.
Yeah, so that I think that's really cool there. I mean, that gives us good perspective. Really useful, I think.
Well, and as we're starting to approach the time frame that I would start thinking about tires if I'm anyone other than Blake right now.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, look, if you're not at least considering it, you're not doing a very good job as a driver. So I mean, you gotta be thinking about it. But Justin Anderson, Steve Gottschalk, there is no way I am coming in until I'm out of fuel. That's just me personally. You're relatively safe on points. Do not put yourself at risk. Now, the exception to that is if everyone else comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone else comes in, you aren't at risk of going a lap down anymore. So just, at least multiple laps down. So just go ahead and come in at that point. But I think the risk is too high. I certainly wouldn't be one of the first ones.
Well, and I want to jump back as Joe Dinsmore has actually started to fall back. And he is within the grasp of Brian McFerrin right now. And that's going to go ahead and start to bring all of this pack. And unfortunately, it looks like Joshua Hanner into the mix as well, as he's only 4 cars back right now from it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are in contention right now. Joe's struggling a bit right now. Just looking at, lap times wise, he's actually not bad. I don't know if he, we'll see with this lap when it completes, what he's looking like. He's actually faster than the guys behind him. It looks like he's stacking them up, but I don't think that's actually the case. I think he's still setting a pretty decent pace.
Well, and I think he's stacking them up mid-turn as he blinks out on us.
Oh, yeah, he did again. I think, it might just be that he's a little bit more conservative on braking than the guys behind him. And that's kind of giving the appearance of it stacking up, and then he pulls away on exit.
And to the dismay of Joshua Hanner, because he has made up 2 positions from where he started, but he's stalled out and he needs to be up there fighting in the top 5 to be able to do anything, as he's starting to take a look underneath of Dan Witt right there.
Yeah, Hanner's got a eye full of Big Red right now, and Brian McFerrin has some issues.
And that causes Dan Witt to wash up the track, but the only position lost is we have yellow.
Caution.
As Ed Springer, that's we're gonna go back to.
Yeah, let's go to the single car camera and let's take a look, see what happened.
So we jump back as Ed Springer looks to be the culprit. Dives a little bit deep and puts a few tires up onto the tarmac and loses control. Tags Dan Witt ever so slightly, and we have Blake Gordon, Adam Wood. I have a feeling everybody is making their way into the pits right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are coming in. Ed probably should have held on to the brakes there instead of trying to turn it around at that point, so maybe a small mistake there. Dan Witt did come in pretty high, though, which was kind of weird, and I'm assuming Ed just didn't expect that. So just kind of a bizarre incident there.
So we have 2 that have stayed out, and Teddy Weichel is actually going to take over the lead of this race, but I'm wanting to watch the race off of pit lane. And
Teddy's coming in right now. May have just, he just came in, but
Justin Anderson looked like he was going to try to get around Steve Gottschalk, but couldn't quite pull it off. But while we have this, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor tonight, The Guitar Attic.
Hi, I'm Randy from The Guitar Attic. Can we be serious for a second? Are you tired of being a loser? Can't do anything right? Feel like everyone's coming down on you all the time? Well, there's a way out, and I'm going to show you. Hey Mom, look what I learned. That's right, pick up a guitar, learn how to play guitar. Automatically you're going to become a chick magnet. The ladies are going to love you. Your kids are going to think you're cool. So what you need to do is come down here to the Guitar Attic, 16725 Ridgewood Avenue in Daytona Beach, Florida, or go on guitarattic.com and buy yourself a guitar and automatically be the star of your neighborhood. That's guitarattic.com.
And we are back. Got to hear from our good friend Randy Pepper, who missed the podcast on Friday night because...
Well, not entirely. He did make a quick appearance.
Because he's on his way out to Phoenix to hang out with all of the drivers and, you know, be Mr. Rockstar and have famous friends. So make sure catch the podcast this Friday because Randy is going to be out on location. Gonna try to make it to where he can get some special guests in and get us to meet some drivers, probably get an appearance from Pat Patterson, but it should be a great time as we are coming to green, and we'll leave it on the TV3 because this is going to give us a great shot of everyone coming around the track 2x2. As green is out, Blake is off, does not get the best jump, but he is going to have that inside line. And we're seeing some checkups there. I'm waiting to see if we can get ourselves back to racing in an orderly fashion, because anytime a caution comes out, they breed cautions, and I'm actually wanting to jump right here. Brandon Bernhardt has moved up, and Joshua Hanner has the low line behind him below Joe Dinsmore. Neither of these guys are really looking like they're going to make it into the final round. But
well, one of them will, because Tony Pandon there right in front of them. They're all battling for points right now. I mean, Hanner, as we run right now, Hanner would be in.
Hanner locks it up, and we have yellow. Oh, Hanner tried diving in deep.
Let's take another look at that. And
he locks up the inside and can't quite get it turned.
Yep, he came in too hot there. That was a mistake on Hanner's part. Hate seeing that Joe got caught up in that. That sucks.
Yes, it does. And we're back under yellow, and it looks like Mr. Hanner has taken the AOLL, put himself at the back for that one, because yeah, there was no question there as Joe Dinsmore is diving into the pits.
His car actually looks okay.
I was going to say, that does not look like he has enough damage, but maybe it was the slide that is making him worry a little bit about those tires.
Well, and you know, I mean, it's going to cycle him out to the back of the field anyway, so, like, why not just come in and take tires? I mean...
Yeah, that much is true. And that looks to be the plan. Now the question is, will he be able to get back off of pit road?
That's what I was just wondering. I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's going to come out behind our lucky dog of Ed Springer, but that's going to keep him on the lead lap, and unfortunate luck for him tonight.
Yeah. You know, let's pull up the point standings, take a look at this, because that's certainly going to shake some things up. Well, not too much. Tony Pandon's currently sitting in fourth, and then Hanner, Bernhardt, Dinsmore, Wood are your four outside below the cut line.
Ooh. That is not going to make for a happy night for Mr. Dinsmore, but we've seen him have speed, be wily. He'll make his way back up and within the fight, because we still have 48 laps.
Yeah. There's no reason for Dinsmore, or honestly even Hanner, to be concerned at this point. Passing's difficult here, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if some of these guys up front, in front of them in points and in front of them on track, perhaps have some issues tonight as well. Because I think in the next, we got 50 laps remaining. I think the intensity is about to turn up here.
Oh, we did see up until lap 60, just everyone out there looking to get themselves into a position, but not any kind of dangerously. But yes, right now.
And you know, I want to point out, something with Hanner, because a few times, while you're commentating, I'm watching your stream, but I'm also going through the field, checking to see what's happening. And I had seen Hanner, very patiently waiting with various drivers. But going back to talking about the intensity, like as pace car peels off, he turned it up, and that was a huge mistake. And it's unfortunate that it happened with Joe again.
Yeah, and that's anyone this races. Blake jumps early, gets himself a massive lead, but we'll go back to the TV3 because that's going to give us a great view of 3 and 4 with this pack, as we're starting to see a little bit more side by side, but it seems like everybody's getting themselves around nice and neatly. But I'm going to jump back and actually focus right here. Steve Gottschalk has himself lined up perfectly behind his teammate, but Tony Pandon is right there waiting to pounce.
Yeah, I mean, that's Tony's another guy. I talked about the fact that Adam Wood's come alive recently. Tony Pandon has come alive in both the Sportsman series and this series. I mean, that's a little bit of bumper there.
He gave the camera a kiss right there.
That might have been a little bit more than a kiss, but
it doesn't look like Steve has too much damage back there.
Oh yeah, no, it was a very aggressive kiss. We'll leave it at that.
But he's right there waiting for any kind of a mistake from Mr. Steve Gottschalk, and he's going to wait a while for that. Probably until next year before we actually see something like that from Steve.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. And right now, I'm taking a look here at Joe Dinsmore and Josh Hanner battling it out right now. They are running in 11th and 10th right now. So this is the battle for 10th. Joe's been right there, and Hanner's got quite a bit of damage. This isn't an aero track, but I mean, it's you would much prefer to have your car nice and clean out there.
Well, of course, and we're going to go ahead and jump back here because apparently your upload is looking a little dirty.
Oh, but I do want to also call out Joe Dinsmore's paint scheme, running his normal Dragon Ball scheme with some pumpkins in it. I love it.
Yeah, he replaced the Dragon Balls with pumpkins, and quite a brilliant scheme for this. And in that vein, jump up to our leader of Blake Gordon, who also has a Halloween-themed paint tonight, as well as Mr. Brandon Bernhardt running the normal colors, just with bats.
Well, we'll say that Sean Carmody also has a Halloween paint
Well,
scheme.
that's just because he keeps forgetting to change back from his pure black scheme from, what was that, Talladega?
It's Talladega, yeah.
But right now, Adam Wood has well over a second over Justin Anderson, and he and Blake are actually putting quite the gap on the field as we're winding down to 35 to go at this point.
Yeah, I keep saying, the intensity is going to kick up really soon, and I really think it is going to. We have great racing. I don't want to start seeing guys wreck each other out there or anything, but I think you're going to start seeing some guys that realize, I have got to go now. I cannot wait. I've got to go.
Without a doubt, but I would say with 35 to go, this is not the right time yet.
Maybe, but at the same time, this is a very difficult track to pass at. I mean, you could it could take you 5-10 laps to pass someone that's faster than you. And actually, I just watched Josh Hanner lock him up again. Joe Dinsmore getting around him.
And unfortunately, that is all for naught at this point in the point standings. But I do believe that Joe Dinsmore is going to be the one to watch, as he is going to do everything he can to get himself up there, as he is making a pass on Teddy Weichel right now. And that's what we're going to start to see a lot of as Joe tries to keep his playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, right now, I mean, I'm looking at Hanner, and, you know, just at the points, he is 1 point outside of the top 4. He does not need to fight Joe Dinsmore at this point. What he needs to do here, get around Teddy Weichel, and that's what he's working on.
And right now, he's down below on that lower line, and that's where he needs to be.
And just like that, he's now tied with Tony Pandon. My tool doesn't calculate what happens in tie situations, because I actually don't know the rules for that. I'll have to ask the admins so I can get that updated. But right now, that would possibly put Hanner into the top 4 just by making that pass.
And that's somewhat surprising, but not unheard of. But right now, I'm watching Justin Anderson, who is under pressure and has a line of cars behind him, and my guess, Justin's doing nothing more than conserving his tires, holding on to his position, because where he runs, he's in.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've talked several times about how, you know, sure, Blake is guaranteed to advance, but that Justin and Steve are in pretty good positions. And I'm going to explain what I mean there. So right now on the live points, Hanner is at 28.20. Pandon's at 28.20. Brandon Bernhardt's at 28.18. Joe Dinsmore's at 28.16. Those guys are really tight there together. And then you look at Justin Anderson, 28.28. Steve Gottschalk, 28.26. I mean, you know, Gottschalk's 6 points above the bubble, which isn't huge, but they're in pretty good shape. I mean, they just need non-disastrous finishes, and they should advance.
Well, and that seems to be what both of them are running for right now. But the two guys behind them, in Brandon Bernhardt and Tony Pandon, they're fighting for their playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's also, you know, talking about, you know, what Justin Anderson and Steve Gottschalk are doing. I mean, you know, people say, oh, well, you should fight to win. Don't just fight to not lose. Well, that depends. I mean, in this case, they are fighting to not lose, because with where their points are, they just need to be safe out there. But some of these other guys do not have that luxury.
And we're focused right now on one of those guys, and Tony Pandon, followed by Brandon Bernhardt, that are on the outside looking in, but only barely. So if they can make up 1-2 positions, it's got to be running through their heads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so tight, and I'm sure, you know, them not having you know, live points like, you know, we're able to see is not you know, it hurts them, but they knew coming into this what they were going to have to do.
And I do want to jump back, as Sean Carmody, with his crumpled midnight black car, is under pressure from Joe Dinsmore with only 23 left in the race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find battles right now, because they're really, for the most part, they are, everyone's very calm right now, and I'm looking.
Well, I just found one. Brian McFerrin is on the bumper of Joshua Hanner, who we've seen has had 2 lockups, and that's not going to be good for his tire wear. And we're also, granted, it's Martinsville, the crumple isn't really going to do all that much.
Well, you wouldn't think, but at the same time, he has just fallen off. I do not know what has happened, but he has his hands full right now, and he's going to have to, if he wants to advance, he's going to have to gain some positions. I mean, currently the tool is showing him in the top 4, but that is not safe.
Wrong.
It's possible the math's wrong, and it's also possible that you know, because he's currently tied with Tony Pandon according to this, he needs to try to gain another position if he can.
Well, and there's no denying that, and Justin Anderson is starting to pull away from Steve Gottschalk. with 19 to go. Got to add that extra buffer, and also is slowly catching Adam Wood to where he's only 300 or 600ths faster on the last lap, but Adam Wood is dropping to Mr. Blake Gordon, who is coming up to lap traffic right now. And right now that's pucker time as he has to check up hard for Tim St. Jean.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's a guy I know will run an offlineness he's doing there when he's a lap car. I think what happened there is Tim thought he had another lap, and Blake is just so much faster than he is.
And right now it's just cruise home for Blake Gordon, sweeping at this point the entirety of this round. And we knew it would be this way going into Martinsville, because he loves this track and it suits him all too perfectly. But I'm going to jump back quickly as Brandon Bernhardt gets around the outside of Tony Pandon. And that's a point shakeup right there that Tony now, as they run, that loses him out to that tie he had with Joshua Hanner.
Yep, that's now giving Hanner a 1-point advantage. Actually knocks Pandon being tied with Brandon Bernhardt. Both of those guys, according to this, 1 point behind Josh Hanner. Of course, we're going to have to wait for the official point results after the race from the admins, but those are just our estimated points.
Our unofficial points.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of shakeup, as also Sean Carmody is no longer quite as much under pressure from Joe Dinsmore as he was. And he's just following that rear bumper of Dan Witt. Neither of these guys in the chase. Sean joined a little too late, but still one of those strong drivers that come next year. We're going to probably be seeing his name in the conversation for the chase.
Oh, yeah, I think absolutely. Sean Carmody's kicked my butt enough times, and honestly, so has Dan Witt. So I've had my butt kicked by both of those guys a lot, and I know they're good drivers.
Well, and you were a little too excited on Thursday to see Big Red running in the TNT series once again, because those guys, it's a lot of respect. But
well, yeah, it was like a throwback. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed running with that guy, so happy to see him out there.
And we're going to jump back up here, because now the gap between Adam Wood and Justin Anderson is under 1 second. And I'm curious if Adam is just knowing that, barring something catastrophic happening throughout this race, Adam is just looking for the best finish he could possibly get tonight, and taking his time.
I mean, Adam had really 2 opportunities to win this race, and that was either not to win, to advance, and that was either for really required to win, but required Blake Gordon to have some sort of incident, which we saw earlier almost did with the lap car spinning, or he needed to be able to do some sort of different pit strategy, which that was taken away from him when the caution came out. So not a lot Adam can do at this point.
I'm gonna jump back really quickly here onto the bumper of Joe Dinsmore, and that's the 47 of Joshua Hanner on him as we see him get squirrely, so commentators curse right there. But he's under pressure, and I'm also just gonna keep popping around the field, because as it is, we're starting to see a lot of cars closing in on one another, as Steve Gottschalk now actually has to contend with Brandon Bernhardt, who seems to be on a charge with only 6 to go.
Yeah, we're going now. I mean, this is go time, and we got battles popping up all over the place.
And Brandon Bernhardt under pressure from Tony Pandon. We're starting to see that desperation coming through for some of these drivers, to where Brandon Bernhardt really wants to get as strong of a finish as he can here, as we're starting to see with the laps ticking down. The field is actually closing up, which is not normal, as Brandon Bernhardt is right there on the bumper of Steve Gottschalk.
Yeah, you know, it's really that this midfield right now that's really tightening up, and I think that's where most of the guys are that need to earn points to advance. That they're fighting right now.
As Brandon's there, and after we come out of turn 4 here, or turn 2, sorry, I got lost for a moment there. Blake Gordon is down to 2 to go.
I was going to say, if you want to pull up the split view, I've got it focused on Blake Gordon right now, so we can keep watching him and still go around and look at a few of the battles if you like.
Well, how about I stay on Blake and you get the battles?
Okay, that'll work. So, you know, the ones we're really watching right now, we want to keep an eye here on Brandon Bernhardt, Steve Gottschalk. I mean, that battle right there could have huge implications as the white flag's coming out. I mean, I think Brandon's going... It's going to be tough for him to get anything going here, but...
well, as we are coming across the line, Blake Gordon takes the checkered flag for the 3rd week in a row. But I think we're just going to see everyone just come home in their positions. And this is not nearly as chaotic of a race as I would have thought, but a darn good one. As the results are in, as Blake is going to burn the tires down. Blake Gordon is our winner, with Adam Wood in 2nd, Justin Anderson in 3rd, Steve Gottschalk 4th, Brandon Bernhardt in 5th, 6th is Tony Pandon, 7th is Dan Witt, 8th is Sean Carmody, 9th Joe Dinsmore, and 10th is Joshua Hanner.
Sorry, I'm trying to
and
get our points.
11th is Brian McFerrin, 12th Teddy Weichel, 13th Ed Springer, 14th Timothy St. Jean, 15th Mike Burgess, 16th David Naughton, and 17th was the Juice.
All right, yeah, so looking at, again, the unofficial points, and I'm hoping that the admins will get the official points updated soon, but right now the estimates have us with Hanner in, and Pandon, Bernhardt, Dinsmore, and Adam Wood out. So, again, all unofficial. I'm keeping my fingers crossed we might be able to get those points updated tonight and get a good look at those before our broadcast is over.
All right. Well, you're doing that, and Blake is deciding to run the wrong way on the track, which I'm sure is a delight to keep control of. Let's bring him up here. Hey, Blake, this is Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
Of course, guys. What's going on tonight?
There's nothing other than, say, pure domination tonight.
Yeah, it was, yeah. What can I say? I love this place. This is my favorite racetrack. It always look forward to coming here, and feels good to come in, be fast, and have a good mistake-free night.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's felt like, I mean, you've always been fast here, but it's felt like you've had some awful luck, almost like a curse against you. And I was starting to feel that way earlier in the race when that lap car spun in front of you.
Yeah, that was...
that was an incredible maneuver to get around him. How were you feeling at that point?
Yeah, I still don't even know how I don't know what I did with my hands and feet not to hit him, and then also just barely tap the inside wall. I was thinking maybe like he'll stay down, but as soon as I saw him like, you know, spin up across the track, I was like, oh God, here we go. So yeah, somehow got through there okay, and no yellow. Almost went caution free tonight, so that would have been fun trying to do green flag pit stops here at Martinsville.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, glad that didn't end up being worse than it was, and could you know, keep going. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about cursed. I mean, yeah, the fuel race the other night, or, you know, a couple of weeks ago, that was just a VR setting issue. Had none of that tonight. And then earlier in the year here was just some strategy differences between me and Justin. So I ended up on like a different cycle with those guys. So just coming up through the field got a little dicey. But tonight was fine. Like, this is what I want to come here and do every time we come to Martinsville. Get pole, lead all the laps, stay up front. It was a lot of fun.
No, it was a clinic, and going into the final round, you have 3 wins under your belt, so 9 bonus points. Is
I'll
that
take
the goal?
everything I can get. Yeah, I mean, before back at Charlotte Roval, you guys are asking me, how do I attack this next round? And I knew it was going to be get through Texas, get through Chicagoland. Never felt like I was going to be necessarily the fastest car at either one of those races, and I wasn't. Texas, Justin and Greg had some, misfortune. I think Justin had a penalty. Greg hit the wall twice, so I was like the next best guy up at the front. Chicagoland, I got super lucky with the strategy call. And then tonight was actually the first race of this round where I came out, felt like the best car, had the fastest pace, qualifying throughout the race. So yeah, the bonus points going into next round will be nice. You can never have too much of a cushion there, especially with I don't even know who advanced. I'm guessing Justin. I don't know who else.
The
I know it was really
unofficial.
tight.
Unofficial is we have you, of course, Justin Anderson, Steve Gottschalk, and Joshua Hanner.
Okay.
Gottschalk and Anderson are almost certain. It's the 1 point differential between Hanner, Pandon, and Bernhardt right now. That's kind of the big question.
Yeah, I think it was like 7 points between Justin and Brandon. Adam wasn't a must win, and I feel bad for Adam because it's like for him at Martinsville to be in a must win, and then he was the second best car tonight, and I knew we had a late race restart. I wouldn't have blamed him for doing what he needed to do to get through. I think he was the only guy like really in a must win tonight. But yeah, feels great to get 3 in a row. Actually, it's 4 in a row, and then sweep the round going into the final round of 3 here. Tracks coming up, Rockingham. That's gonna be a wild card. Really easy to find the wall off too. New Phoenix is interesting, based on some testing there already. And then what is it, Homestead?
Yes.
Yeah, Homestead.
Yeah, so I got my work cut out for me at Homestead. So the bonus points will be nice because obviously Justin and Steve will be fast there. Last year's Cup finale still fresh in my head, running terrible compared to those guys, especially on the long run there. I was just nowhere to be found. So got some work to do to find some speed, but hopefully we can get some points at Rockingham and Phoenix and not necessarily have to go into Homestead and try to win it, because I don't even know what the order is, but I know Homestead's in there and that's the one I'm worried about.
You close with Homestead.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll take everything I can get at Rockingham and Phoenix and hopefully not have to go to Homestead and win it, because I wouldn't bet on myself to do it there.
No, it was a dominant run. I wish we had more to talk about, but
I wish we had more laps.
No strategy had to come into play here because the cautions fell very conveniently timed.
Yeah, if we're right at the halfway mark. I think if we had a 200-lap race, I think we would have seen some green flag pit stops. It was a pretty small field tonight, Halloween and everything, so totally understand it. But yeah, we were on the radio talking about, green flag pit stops in Martinsville. I can't remember ever doing it, so that was going to be, who knows? It's so easy to get a speeding penalty with a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, so that could have been like the I don't know what you call it, not the equalizer, but that could have been like the wrench and everything right there, had it happen.
No, thanks for chatting with us again.
Of course,
great
guys.
to see you win, and
Thank you.
best of luck next week as we hit the new Phoenix.
Yeah, I can't wait. It looks great. iRacing did a great job with it. Looking forward to going there and having a great race. And thanks again, as always, for doing the broadcast. It's always great to go back and
we're not booting you yet. Well, obviously, the 4 people you have to worry about because the points are updated officially. You are number 1, no surprise in any way there, followed by Justin Anderson, Steve Gottschalk, and Joshua Hanner.
All righty. That's going to be a fun Final Four.
It's going to be a great time, but thank you, sir. Congratulations, and go party with... Okay, none of your teams left.
No, great. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'll talk with you guys later.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep, see ya.
All right, let's bring up our number 2 and a man who probably needs a little bit of a hug, Mr. Adam Wood.
What's going on, gentlemen?
If I was anywhere near Texas, I would come and give you a hug because that was an absolutely fantastic race from you. Just...
Yeah, it's a 1 point shy, or not 1 point, but a 1 position shy. But hey, I had fun tonight. I appreciate the field throwing only 2 cautions tonight. It was an outstanding run.
It's a much cleaner run than I was anticipating coming into Martinsville. Because...
you and me both.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to wonder, Adam. I had said during the broadcast, near the end of the broadcast, that really the 2 best chances you had to win this race were for either Blake to have some sort of, and then this was after we saw how fast Blake was. Not saying he didn't have a shot to begin with, but for Blake to have some sort of catastrophic issue, which he almost did at one point with a lap car spinning. But then I said the other thing would have been potentially if we had stayed green flag and you could have tried to mix it up with pit strategy. Had you put any thought into what sort of pit strategy you would attempt to, if you had to do green flag pit stops?
It depends on what lap we had to come in at. If we had 15, 20 to go, taking tires would work, but it would have to be like a whole team strategy, or fake him out, look like we're staying out, and then come in, and hopefully the whole entire field drags along with us. And then I would either pick a 2 or 4 tires to stay out front, and then hopefully my green new tires would outrun his pace that he just demolished the field with.
Well, I mean, we did see well over a second
a fall off
between fresh and brand new, so it wouldn't be unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way I think I would have had any type of opportunity to get him tonight, unless I Alex bowed him there on the restart on that second one.
I mean, still, it was a Herculean effort. You could tell that you'd put in the time, and not just from running 275 laps on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic car tonight. It drove really nice. I was trying to get in the corners as lofty and trying to get a great exit. That was the key, but I could see Blake whenever he was still on the same straightaway as me. His exits were just phenomenal, and he was, fishtailing it here and there, but I mean, he was getting such a launch off the corner, and that's where he was beating me off the corner. So I didn't want to try to risk it and try to continue to do that. I was hoping he would risk it too much, even though he had a huge lead, and he would make a mistake. I didn't want to be the one making a mistake.
Well, it seemed like you didn't really didn't see any crinkles on the subway car tonight.
I tell you what, going down that front straightaway, you're going straight, but by the time you get to the entry to turn 1, it's like the straightaway turns with you, and I kept barely bumping it. It would throw off my entry, and it kind of sucked. I wasn't the only one. There was quite a few other people on the team who were talking about it. It was just so weird as you're going down the front straightaway. You would kind of glance off of it. It's but other than that, no, it looks like a fantastic car compared to on Tuesday night.
I mean, I don't think anyone really made it out of Tuesday night without any kind of damage.
Yeah, it was kind of a melee there. But no, tonight, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. They raced very clean. I was not expecting it. I don't think anybody was really expecting not only having 2 cautions all night long. And so, yeah, I appreciate that.
No, it was great run. Great to see you reach form. Unfortunately, we don't get to see you battling it out for the championship in this league, But I'm looking forward to Tuesday night with Nick and Justin Anderson in the booth and getting to cheer on everybody's favorite Texas driver.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I wish I could have done something extra, but I mean, as you can tell, I don't think I could have done anything that would have caught Blake the whole entire night. So I'm looking forward to the next 3 races and go on trying to trophy hunt, try to steal some wins away from these playoff drivers.
I'm looking forward to it. Now that the pressure's off, it's time to just go in there and do what you can to get that second win.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great evening.
Thanks. You too.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, and a quick word from our third place finisher of Mr. Justin Anderson. Good evening, sir. This is Josh and Carl.
Oh, hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, it's good to hear your voice.
And yours as well, sir.
I've heard it a lot in recent past.
Yeah.
Are you suffering from PTSD at this moment?
No, I was figuring it would be with cautions abound, but we only had 2 tonight.
Yeah, the only bad thing about it was really cool to only have 2 cautions. That's the fewest I think I've ever had in any type of race at Martinsville ever, but it really highlighted just how much I suck compared to Blake. So that was a little bit embarrassing. I would have preferred another caution or 2 so the gap wasn't quite as great.
Well, but if you want to compound embarrassment, how much faster Adam was tonight, too.
That's not embarrassing. Adam's a great driver. It was embarrassing to lose to Blake by that much. I figured that if we had long runs, he was better. He always has been on long runs at this track. The first run, I burned up a lot of tire expecting multiple cautions, and then I kind of regretted it as I was following Steve and Adam the first run going, oh, I wish I'd saved some tire for that.
So go ahead, Justin.
I was going to the second run, I did a little bit of a better job, so I caught up to Adam. I don't think I would have been able to get by him without 20 more laps, but the second run I did better managing the tires, but I just watched my F2 and watched the gap just increase by Blake lap after lap after lap.
So one of the things Josh and I were discussing in the booth during the race before that first caution came out, we were kind of approaching the point where the fuel window had opened up, so guys could have started pitting, and it was a big question mark about risk versus reward. If you pit early, you obviously are getting more time on each lap, but you are putting yourself multiple laps down. And I was saying, with you being in a relatively safe point position along with Steve Gottschalk, I felt like you were going to try to, probably push it to almost running it dry before you pitted. Was that what you were thinking, or were you going to perhaps try to split it in half or something?
It would have. So I was looking because Hannah and Steve were tied a point behind me, but then it was 6 points back to Tony and Joe, and then 7 points back to Brandon. So those are the 3 people I was worried about passing me. So I was kind of just keeping track of where they were on the racetrack, and I would have decided what to do when I saw what they were doing. If they had split the strategy, that would have really effed with me. But but if they had stayed kind of together, since they were the ones who were battling to move up in the points, I probably would have just followed them, because it didn't matter how I finished overall. It only mattered how I finished relative to them.
Very good point.
No, but it was a great run from you tonight. It looked like, especially on that second stint, that it was just survive, no errors, and live to fight another day.
Yeah, it was a little bit less exciting than other races have been, because I was just riding. Like I said, I don't think I would have been able to pass Adam anyway, but I didn't want to in the off chance that a lap car took out Blake, or I don't know, he disconnected or something, because Adam needed to win to advance in the chase. So I just kind of rode, which doesn't sound like it would be that particularly interesting, and it probably wasn't to watch, but it was really interesting to try and battle tire wear and see how the car changed over the long run.
No, there was good, hard battles throughout the field tonight, because we didn't see desperation, but you definitely saw the people that needed to have a great finish not giving an inch.
Yes. Thankfully, I wasn't in a situation where I had to bowman someone, or put myself in the position to be bowmaned. So I was grateful that I found a gap and was able to just kind of ride there.
No, it worked out well for you, and going into the remainder of the season, how are you feeling going into the new Phoenix next week?
New Phoenix should be good. I practiced a little bit at it, and it drives differently than Old Phoenix, but kind of the concept is the same. Rockingham is a little bit of a wild card. I can't wait for Homestead. But I think I should do okay at Phoenix. Steve's also going to be good at Phoenix. Joe's going to be good at Phoenix. Blake is obviously going to be good at Phoenix. Rockingham is going to be the kind of question mark. It's a tough track. It's really, really bumpy. I haven't tested it all there yet, so I don't know what the setup feels like. I have a shot at it. It's a long shot, especially with Blake sweeping this round and having 9 friggin' bonus points. But I'm not going to count myself out, but I'm definitely not the favorite.
At least you're honest.
Oh, absolutely. Because can you imagine the look on Blake's face if we'd only had one more green flag run, I would be able to run Blake down to Martinsville, and I'm going to sweep the next 3 races. I could watch his head explode right now.
Yeah, I could see that too.
I should have said it. Dang it. I didn't think about it until just now. Oh, well.
Yeah, if you had made his head explode, you wouldn't have had a competitor for the next 3 races, so you'd have been good.
I wonder if Johnny would have just bumped the next points finisher up.
Probably.
Well, thanks again for the broadcast, guys. I can't wait to go back and watch it. You guys do a great job as always.
Well, thank you, sir. Good luck on Tuesday in the booth for the IVRL. Just no, you can't be blatantly obvious rooting for Adam.
I can't mention Adam's name because then if something happens to him, he's going to blame me.
Oh, that is true. So
I was instructed not to focus on Adam, not to mention Adam, unless it was otherwise avoidable.
We did it today. But
and one other piece of advice for the broadcast: you are allowed to tell Nick to shut up. So
no, I'd prefer he do most of the talking. He's done this many times before. I never have, so I'm nervous already, and it's still 2 days away. I have a notebook of stuff I want to like how the points are, how people have been finishing at certain tracks. So yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't want to look like an idiot. More than I usually do.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be awesome. But hey, it was a pleasure talking with you tonight. Good luck next week, and good luck Tuesday night.
Thanks. Have a great night, y'all.
Yep, you too. All right, that is going to do it for us tonight. Make sure catch all of the broadcasts that we have coming up. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will have round 2 of the Fuel Playoffs. Tuesday night, we have the championship race for the IVRL. That broadcast will start at about 6:45 Eastern, with the race itself starting at 7. Wednesday, we have the AOLL Sportsman Series, which is the first of the final round of 6. Thursday, we have the TNT. Also will be at Phoenix, but I do believe we are running the old version where you can't cut the dog leg, which makes me sad. And then Friday night, we will have the podcast, just general fun. Hopefully, I won't be as drunk as this past week.
I hope I will not be either.
And then Sunday night, catch us for the AOLL Cup Series, the first of the final round of 4. But that is going to do it for us here at Ghostfire Media. I'm Josh Lassen and Carl Henderson, and have yourselves a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.